Good evening and welcome to this webinar relating to becoming an agile leader with a postgraduate qualification. We'll just wait a bit as people join. You are also looking at a presentation. You can use the chat or the Q&A functions just to give me some feedback whether the screen is clear and the audio is clear. You're all welcome. We're up to 39 participants. We'll wait a bit more. Thank you, Mr. Siboniso Duandwe. Good evening, Brandon. Welcome. I'll just wait a few more minutes while we have more people join. There might have been some. Thank you, Tatenda Mufunda, for your feedback. Moleme, Masosi Moleme, thank you. You see, you raised your hand. I'm taking that to indicate all is well. Good evening, Mandisa. Thank you, Calvin Frank. Again, I'm taking it that you raised your hand to indicate that all is well. Just to remind you again that you are welcome to share your thoughts using the chat line. And if you have any questions, use the Q&A. I have my colleagues with me who will handle some of the questions. Bahule, good evening. So we're up to 50 participants, so I guess we can get going. So once again, welcome to this webinar relating to postgraduate qualifications. In many ways, it's about continuing the learning journey with a postgraduate qualification. And so a subtitle, I guess, of this would be about continuing the learning journey in terms of postgraduate study. So perhaps we should look at my name. Oh, by the way, sorry, I beg your pardon. My name is Osman Seedat. I'm the Deputy Dean at Regent Business School. And perhaps we should start off by thinking about the end in mind. So I'll ask you to begin with the end in mind in terms of imagining graduation, that you're graduating with a postgraduate qualification at Regent Business School. And one of my tasks is to actually, call out names of people who are graduating. So if you can just close your eyes for a minute and think about your name being called out by my sometimes boring or monotonous voice, that will tell you this is what we're aiming to do. That would be the first part in terms of continuing the learning journey, graduating perhaps with an honors degree or a postgraduate diploma, and then moving on to a master's and then to a doctorate in business administration. But we'll talk about that just now. So postgraduate study then creates a lot of opportunities. It talks a lot to a number of things. If we were to put a barcode on a master's degree, for example, then what the price that would come up would actually not be able to be done because it is in many ways priceless. And often having completed an undergraduate qualification, the question arises, should I seek employment? Should I continue with my studies? And while individual circumstances might dictate, what we do at Regent Business School is to allow you the opportunity to do both, to seek employment and to be in employment, but to also continue your studies. So that's one of the things about, in fact, it benefits people, particularly in management and related disciplines, to be in employment in terms of their postgraduate study. So what are the kinds of postgraduate qualifications that are available? And these are really the honors degrees, the postgraduate diplomas, and these are at NQF level 8. Then the master's degree, and there's two types, the master's degree through coursework, like the MBAs that we offer, and then the master's degree through pure research is not at this stage offered at Regent Business School, and then a doctoral degree. And we offer the Doctor in Business Administration. So these are, again, types of postgraduate study, research degrees, thought master's degrees, postgraduate diplomas, not necessarily certificates, and professional training also qualifies as postgraduate study. This would, for example, be people doing, preparing to write, let's say, the board exam. That would be a form of professional training. At Regent Business School, our postgraduate qualifications range from 2 Bachelor of Commerce honors degree, 1 a general and 1 in human resource management, 5 postgraduate diplomas ranging across from management, educational management and leadership, Islamic finance and banking, project management and accounting, 2 Master of Business Administration or MBAs, 1 a general MBA and the other one an MBA in healthcare management, and then our overriding and qualification, the Doctor of Business Administration. And this is in terms of an articulated pathway that we offer at Regent Business School. The block obviously is the postgraduate from NQF level 8 onwards, but feeding into that, the requirements into the postgraduate diplomas and honors degrees, the bachelor's degrees, advanced diplomas that at level 7 that allow articulation into the postgraduate arena. So the articulated pathway is in essence a one-stop shop that allows you to move from NQF level 5 right up to a doctorate level. Okay. So the key here is obviously that lifelong learning, and lifelong learning is not only limited to the qualifications that we offer in terms of formal learning programs. It also includes informal or non-formal learning, and that all then contributes to this notion of lifelong learning. The benefits, of course, of which are that new skills are built, self-confidence, wisdom increases, and here we at Regent Business School are committed to this notion of lifelong learning, hence our articulated pathway. So the question arises as to why a postgraduate qualification? And it's really a way to specialize, to retrain, to gain a deeper understanding of one's chosen subject, to increase one's employability, and at the commercial level, generally postgraduates earn more than individuals whose highest qualification is an undergraduate degree. So postgraduates earn more money, they get jobs. It's about taking the next step in a career. It's about expanding a professional network, and most importantly, personal fulfillment and contributing to making a difference. So it's opportunities to further careers, to change career direction. You could start off with an undergraduate degree that is in a general BCom, for example, and then follow it up with a postgraduate diploma in, for example, supply chain management. And that will enable you to gain clearer insights into a particular industry. And then, of course, at Regent Business School, they allow you to study in a flexible manner. It's about improving salary prospects, as I said earlier, employability, specialization, and critically, broadening intellectual interest. All right. So Joanna Hughes talks about 5 reasons to get a postgraduate qualification. And I want to say that it's part of that intellectual stimulation, developing beneficial connections, and allowing sometimes people to make a career change. However, I must warn you, it's not for the faint-hearted. It needs hard work, but essentially it's rewarding because it can then focus you in terms of your career, all right, regardless of whether you're employed or self-employed. Okay, so moving on, you can say that postgraduate study is an extension of these academic skills that are utilized at an undergraduate level. In many ways, what you've done in an undergraduate and then what follows in a postgraduate qualification enables you to grasp some of the issues and arguments relating to a process of perhaps deeper research, to be able to analyze some theories critically, to deal with this complexity and changes and ambiguity, and more importantly, reflecting on one's learning. And that becomes more evident in a postgraduate program. So let me share with you some issues relating to knowledge and how what is the nature of knowledge, and maybe some of those theories that we talk about, the isms, as you can see. So the one that I want to focus on is perhaps what we call postmodernism. But just to tell you briefly, positivism is about seeking objective knowledge of the world. And then critical realism says we seek knowledge of the world, but we recognize that it's influenced by our subjectivity. Then interpretivism and phenomenology or action research is about saying, well, how do we make sense of the world in terms of different groups and societies? And then the one I want to talk about mainly, postmodernism, an era in which knowledge is uncertain, that the external reality is not always what it seems. So nothing in this social and intellectual world is tangible and nothing is fixed. So the question is, are you listening to a real human being, or is this some kind of a hologram that's communicating with you? Okay. In this world, there are no eternal truths or values because of the change, and our knowledge of reality is seriously uncertain. And just to reflect that briefly, maybe you can just have a look at this illustration and decide whether there are 3 or 4. And the point here is that equally valid observations from differing perspectives can appear to be contradictory. So is it 4 or 3? I'll give you a couple of seconds to look at it carefully. Maybe we should have polled you so you can give your answers, but think about it. So the bottom line of all of this is that we need to understand our changing environments. We need to understand our changing environments, I beg your pardon, and challenge the assumptions that we have. Sorry, I apologize. All right, so challenge these assumptions in terms of operating teams and how we pursue innovation. And the key here really, and I'll come back to what we're talking about, becoming an agile leader with postgraduate qualifications. So what do we mean? So let's just briefly look at what we mean by leadership. And while I don't intend to go into a treatise of leadership, the key here is that middle, the column that says influence. Leadership is essentially an influence process. We need to persuade, promote, and delegate, and link to self-awareness, communication, and learning agility. And here's that word again, agility, which talks to change. It's the key of influence. So leadership is an influence process. And you don't have to be in a position to be a leader. You don't have to be in a senior position, okay? Because if you are influencing people, then that is part of what you are doing. You are leading, you are influencing people, you're persuading them, promoting some stream of thought or promoting a value. So agile leadership is really about leading through change and shaping the environment. Again, you don't have to be in a position of authority in order to do that. But generally, leaders would be in a position to lead through change and shape the environment. And we talk about agile leadership. So when learning agility is about knowing when to change course and when to help others to do so, to manage change. So if we just, and I'll bring this all together just now in case you're thinking that I'm going all over the place, the World Economic Forum talks about the top 10 skills of 2025. And if you just scroll down these forms, we see their resilience, flexibility, reasoning, ideation, leadership and social influence, complex problem solving. So the question that you have to ask yourself really is, are you prepared for 2025? Given that, and I'm sure you heard this enough times, the fourth industrial revolution is moving past us, probably we're in the fifth or the sixth industrial revolution. This is a revolution that has changed every part of our lives. In fact, the only constant, as we all know it, it might be a cliche, is change. We're faced with all of this: artificial intelligence, 3D printing, autonomous vehicles, biotechnology, quantum computing, all which reflect this revolution. And out of this revolution will come something that says talent will be the critical factor of production. Talent, ladies and gentlemen, is what will be critical. So to bring it back then, we say, well, it's this talent that will make people employable. And this is what Regent Business School is trying to do in its postgraduate programs in particular, is to integrate employability in higher education. In order to seek those knowledge, to gain those competencies, to gain those skills, to be valuable in the context in which we find ourselves, this postmodern world. We see, for example, that it's about employability. So what is employability? Employability is not just about having a job. It's about being capable of getting and keeping fulfilling work. It's about the set of skills, knowledge, understanding, and personal attributes to make us satisfied and successful. It's not just about getting a job. And employability depends on your knowledge, your skills, and your attitudes. What you know, what you do with what you know, the skills or competencies, and then how you approach things. And I want to say that this is a combination. And in most postgraduate courses, this is what we try to bring out, okay? It's not about just loading you with theory. It's about making you think about it, how you approach things, how you apply it, why you accept certain theories, why you reject certain theories. So employability skills are those skills, knowledge, and attributes are required to gain employment, but to be able to adapt, progress, and learn successfully. And the key there, learning successfully so that we benefit not only yourselves or the individual or the immediate employer, but society and the economy at large. So it's not just about getting a job. It's about ensuring that you will be successful in whatever way you try to define success. So let me share with you some of these, what they call the top 10 employability skills. We see again adaptability, collaboration, the use of technology, and the use of information, among others. And the skills, again, communication, initiative, planning and organizing, self-management, technology, or sometimes called digital dexterity, to be able to function in this digital world that the fourth industrial revolution has brought to us. What we want is the skills that are future-proof. We want to future-proof skills. Because by 2030, what we will be doing is 90% of the time we'll be solving problems. And 40% more time each week will be using critical thinking skills. This is absolutely important. So where does that bring us? Well, it comes back to this articulated pathway that you, in order to progress towards achieving some of these future-proof skills, having completed an undergraduate qualification, you have to go into a postgraduate qualification. You have to climb up this pathway. Lifelong learning demands that you don't stop at any point. Even when you get to a doctoral degree, we talk about postdoctoral research. So this is the pathway, this is the lifelong learning that has to be inculcated as part of what we do. And the journey doesn't stop at attaining an undergraduate qualification. That's the passport, that's the entry into the postgraduate world. And the postgraduate world then opens more of those doors. So just to remind you again, our postgraduate programs range from the honors degrees right up to a Doctor of Business Administration. Okay, again, in order to do a master's degree, you need an honors or equivalent qualification or an equivalent postgraduate diploma. Both the honors and the postgraduate diploma sit at NQF level 8. The master's degree sit at NQF level 9, and then NQF level 10 is where the doctor's degree. So Alfred has a question that says he has a national diploma in electrical engineering, an MDP, and he has a certificate in the principles of project management. Yes, Alfred, if your national diploma is that one which was in the past equivalent to a bachelor's degree, you are eligible to do the postgraduate diploma in project management. Please direct your inquiry to the student support or student recruitment, and they will give you further information. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my short presentation. I want to just pick up something that was put on the chat line. I'm sure you've seen it. Regent says, it depends which angle you are looking at those, whether it could be both 3 and 4. And you're right, Bridget, what the point of this is that two answers that appear to be correct are in fact contradictory. So in our world, we say, well, it can't be 3 and 4, it must be either 3 or 4. But in a world where we need to be flexible about our thinking, where we need to understand ambiguity and complexity, then it's perfectly acceptable to say, well, it just depends on the angle which you are looking at it, and that will tell you. So neither 3 nor 4 is wrong, and you can argue, well, neither are both right, because it could be 3 or it could be 4. But that's the world in which we're living in, and that's when we need to have these skills to be able to think flexibly, to be able to utilize our knowledge, to accept that everything will not always be as it seems. So Temba wants to know how many hours one needs to study a week for an MBA general degree. Temba, your learning style is often a very individual thing. It's nice to have a timetable, but you also must be realistic. Adult learners and people like yourselves generally would have their work and obligations, the employment obligations, they have their family and social obligations, and then they embark on some kind of a postgraduate program. And often you can't abandon the two. It would be nice if you could study full-time and not have any responsibilities with regard to family and social life. However, one needs to, this is part of the hidden curriculum, one needs to plan. I don't think it's about saying you need 10 hours a week or 5 hours a week. I think you need a practical plan, one to first become familiar with the content. In the first semester of your MBA, you'll be doing 4 modules. You may have credit for one, but you'll be doing 4 modules, and it's about becoming familiar with the content, knowing when your assignments are due, and organizing your life accordingly so that you submit on time, and then knowing when the exams are so that you can prepare adequately. So it's a very much of a personal thing. Karan wants to know, when does the postgraduate diploma in accounting starts? It starts, I think, in March, Karan, but you'll have the cutoff registration date will probably be the end of February, but you can get further information from student support or the student recruitment section. Lorraine, yes, okay, Lorraine, I'll have to make a note of that. Oh dear. Okay, Lorraine, if you can just put your email address up again, I will send it to you. Teresa Kasambo says, I have a degree in financial management. Well, the postgraduate diploma is your pathway towards a master's qualification. It also enables you to take a slightly different, add to your skills. For example, if you do a postgraduate diploma in project management, you now added project management competencies to your financial management competencies. All right, Vuyani, for long distance learners, how do we get one-on-one sessions now and again? Okay, so Vuyani, what you'd be is you would have webinars for your subjects that you have, and you will be able to communicate with the lecturers or with the people, the module coordinators through via email, and they will then be able to set up those so-called one-on-one sessions, provided you make an appointment, so to speak. Lorraine, thank you. I'll make a note of that email address. Let's see, AB013H8. Okay, Osman is talking to a machine here. I do not have a question. I just need a study partner or group to keep me glued to my studies. Okay, so you want to put that email up on the chat line, MGAGULP, so that everybody can see it. but I'll make a note of it also. And on your application form, you would have indicated that you can allow other people to contact you. Janine. Okay, Janine, I'll make a note of that email. And then Anna. Okay, the postgraduate diploma is the one is postgraduate diploma in project management. Okay, that will start in March as well. Okay, so you can join then. But if you've registered, you'll get your study material. There are some material. There will be stuff available on the portal that you will have access to. So now, sorry, we got a number of questions here. All right, Shanice. Shanice, you're right. We don't have the pass rates as such until we get the results of the supplementary exam. That we regard that as one session, the main and the supplementary. So 2020 was the first year in which we offered the PGDA. Yes, you're right. It is an uphill climb to most, particularly the fact that you have to pass all 4 in one sitting, and that's what I mean. So one sitting refers to the main and the supplementary exam. So those supplementary exam results have not been are not out yet. So I won't be able to tell you what the pass rate is. But I would imagine that it's on par with most of the other institutions offering the PGDA. Stuart wants to know if one can register with the PGDA with the Regent BCom degree in accounting. The short answer, Stuart, is no. You'll have to do a bridging program, which will then allow you to register for the postgraduate diploma in accounting. And we're busy developing that bridging program at the moment. And then anonymous attendee, I'm not sure why you don't want to tell me your name, but it's fine. He's got a BTech in economics and management exposed and with 7 years of experience. No, you will not be able to gain entry straight into the MBA program. You'd have to go via a postgraduate diploma or an honors program, because the BTech is at NQF 7. So I trust that answers your question. Okay, so anonymous attendee, I don't know if it's the same person, says, do I know how exams will take place? Unless things change dramatically, anonymous attendee, the exams will be in the form of what we call open book take-home assessments. When on the scheduled day, the assessment is available to you, you download it at a particular time, and then you have a specified time, 3, 4 hours or 5 hours, in which to upload your answer. It's an open book, what we call a take-home assessment. And Karan says, all right, so the one-on-one sessions, Karan won't necessarily be contact. It will be perhaps through webinars or telephone calls. But again, if the conditions change in terms of COVID and the COVID restrictions, then yes, we might be having the support lectures on weekends. It just depends on how things pan out. Mazwi, yes, it is still open. Please put in your application so it can go to the selection process. Anonymous attendee, as I said, we only started the postgraduate diploma in accounting in 2020, and we don't have the pass rates or success rates because we were awaiting the results of the supplementary exams. Yes, we will try and put this on the portal as well. Thank you for that. Younger wants to know if the postgraduate diploma in project management grants credits for the MBA. The answer is no. There are no credits into the MBA, but obviously you would have that exposure to a postgraduate qualification. You'd have the postgraduate qualification and those additional skills. Menzi has been admitted for BCom HR. Okay, I'm not sure, is that the BCom honors? Yes, so those assignments due dates will be sent to you, Menzi. If you haven't received them within the next week, then please communicate with student support, but I think they have gone out via email to all registered students. Alri Mareme, I'll make a note of your email address. Vuyani Tlamini, between postgraduate diploma in management and postgraduate in project management, which one is better aligned with the MBA? Vuyani, the postgraduate diploma in management allows you to take 3 credits into the MBA. And as I just said to somebody just now, this is not the case with the postgraduate diploma in project management. So from what we call a related qualification, the postgraduate diploma in management is more aligned to the MBA. Vusi Musi wants to know the exemption application process for the elective module. Okay, so it doesn't change for the elective module. If you think you have a similar qualification, or you've done a similar qualification, or you have done a module at the same NQF level, and I must stress that at a postgraduate level, then there is a process in which you apply for exemption or credits, apply for credits, and this is a form of recognition of prior learning, formal learning, and there is an application form, and that goes to a committee, and they will then respond with their response. If you get the credit, then that will be, you will be credited with that, for example, and that's it. Bongani, yes, there is a Facebook page called Regent Academic Hub. Thank you. If you can put that on the chat line so everybody can see it. Yeah, Non-Sikelelo, yes, if you have a BCom in law, you qualify for the BCom honors program. We look forward to seeing you on the program. I will take a note of that email. Yes, okay, Machidiso wants to know if we get our assignments back. Yes, so the assignments are also part of the formative assessment. So you will get the marked assignment will be available on the portal. You will get an indication or a communication to say that your assignment is now available, and you'll be able to download it and look at it and see the feedback that we give you on the assignments. From BCom honors to an MBA, I think there are 2 credits, economics and financial management. No, 3 credits, I beg your pardon. Economics, financial accounting, financial management, and marketing management. So it's, I think it's 40 credits, if I'm not mistaken. All right, anonymous attendee wants to know about the affiliation with Honoris. Honoris is a network of higher education institutions across Africa. The institutions in Morocco, in Tunisia, in Nigeria, in Mauritius, in South Africa, and I think a few planned in Kenya as well. So Honoris is a network, and Honoris United Universities is this network, and Regent Business School belongs to this network, is part of this network. And it's about collaboration and what we call collaborative intelligence, so we can pool our resources and learn from our sister institutions across Africa. Siboniso, I have a BSc in IT, currently studying BCom in HRM. Is that BCom honors or is just a BCom? if it's honors Siboniso, yes, you can go on to the MBA. If it's a BCom, you'd have to do honors before, or postgraduate diploma before you move on to the MBA. Sorry, it's I'm not sure whether you're saying BCom in HRM is a BCom honors. Vusimusi, no, you won't get exemption for the project management elective module because your project management qualification is at level 8. The elective module is at level 9. And yeah, okay. So Lucy wants to know about whether she has to buy all the textbooks. Lucy, it is advisable to get at least one textbook for each module that you'll be doing, not just for that year, but as a reference as well. Okay. If you got access to some of the recommended reading, then you don't have to buy, especially where they talk about multiple textbooks. But it's always, in my view, an investment. But having said that, I acknowledge that the prices of textbooks are very high. If you can get an e-version, for example, or if it's cheaper, or you can get access, or you have a study group that has access to maybe one of the textbooks that can be shared, these are some of the ways in which you can get around some of the challenges in terms of acquiring books. But I would say that, yes, you should have at least one textbook for each of the modules that you are studying in the semester. If you have credits from UNISA, anonymous attendance, he says, are they recognized? Your credits from UNISA must be at a postgraduate level if they're going to be recognized, or they're going to be granted for a postgraduate qualification at Regent, anonymous attendee. Lorraine, no, I don't say it is just theory, but there isn't a practical, if you want, component. For example, there's no work-based component that is credit-bearing, but we hope that there will be interactions and that you'll be able to relate your learnings, not just the theory, your learnings, to your circumstances in which you are working, for example. Ulrich wants to know how the assignment mark influences the final pass mark for a module. Ulrich, that is done via the okay, I would get my colleague to answer that. But generally speaking, the assignment constitutes 40% of your final mark. All right, and then Matshidiso, do we get our assignments back to check where we committed mistakes? Yes, I think I've answered this, Matshidiso, but yes, you will get your assignments back. The assignments form part of the formative assessment, and yes, you will get them back, the marked assignments. Textbooks can be bought from any of the booksellers. It's also stocked by Shesha Books, also stocks our prescribed books, but most of the booksellers, you may be able to buy them online as well. I think Take a Lot does have books as well. Just if you're not sure about the edition, make sure it's the latest edition. The webinars are recorded and will be on the portal for you to be able to watch in your own time. You'll be able to download and watch them. Yes, so the short answer to that is yes. All right, I can just take some of those email addresses down. Are there any further questions? Oh, goodness. Sorry. Mariam. Are there any further questions? Apologize for that. I just was trying to note these emails. Mariam. I'm not sure if there's any further questions. Let me just check. Oh, yeah, you go. All right. Younger wants to know, are there any future plans to create a master's in project management qualification? No, I don't think there are any plans, but again, that might change. Certainly for 2021, there's no plans to apply for a master's in project management, but certainly that could change in 2022. But the short answer is no in 2021. Let's see. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, non-Sikalelo, I didn't come across this one, sorry. Tando Tabeta saying that Regent has given discounts on some postgraduate qualifications. I don't know anything about discounts on some postgraduate qualifications, but the old adage is there. Maybe if you ask for it, it might be possible. I'm not saying it will happen, but if you don't ask, you won't get it. So maybe when you're registering, you can ask for a discount. I'll have to do without my salary for this month then. How much do assignments contribute to the final mark? I answered that. Generally 40%. In the MBA, it's 50%. How many years does it take to complete the DBA? A minimum of 3 years, anonymous attendee, because it's a 360 credit qualification. Minimum is 3 years from first registration. What is the academic reputation of Regent, including all accreditations with DHE? Nhlansla Kumalo. Okay, so, all right. Nhlansla, I won't be talking to you today if we go through what is called almost a triple kind of accreditation. Firstly, our programs and the institution have to be quality assured and accredited by the Council on Higher Education, the CHE. Then our programs have to be recognized and recorded on the framework by SAQA, the South African Qualifications Authority. And finally, the Department of Higher Education and Training, DHET, issues a license that says which programs we can offer and which programs we are accredited to offer. So there's no question about what you call the academic reputation. Regent is almost 25 years old. Okay, we're certainly accredited and tick all the boxes in terms of accreditation, registration, recognition, etc. Nomajama wants to know about plans for Masters in Commerce. Yes, our BCom honors have been running for several years now. So yes, there would be plans for an MCom, but in all likelihood, this will be research only. It won't be what we call a coursework Masters. It will be a research-based Masters, as I said earlier. Anonymous attendee, you will get the assignment due dates when you register for the postgraduate diploma in project management. You will get the assignment due dates, and those are the so-called deadlines as you refer to them. Okay, Stuart, any plans? All right. How is the Regent MBA ranked in South Africa? Temba, we have stopped being part of the what used to be the rankings, because in any case they don't have rankings anymore. If you ask me what my view is, mine is a subjective view. I said yes, we are in the top 10. It's not only about the quality, it's also about affordability and providing access. I would say yes, we are in the top 10, but as I say, that is a subjective view. Somebody says, I'm in Namibia. Are these PG courses recognized here? Yes, they are recognized. We in the process of gaining further recognition and recording on the Namibian qualifications framework. PG Dip in accounting, Johanna, they are tests. There are no assignments. They are tests that will constitute your so-called year mark or the course mark, which would be similar to the assignments mark in the other programs. Okay, that's done. Stuart, what about BCom honors in accounting? No, there are no plans to introduce a BCom honors in accounting. The PGDA is the equivalent of that. If you're interested in going that route, you have to have an undergraduate degree, BCom in accounting, and then move on to the PGDA to go that chartered accountant route. So we answered that. Yes, Anna, having finished the postgraduate diploma in project management, not project planning and management, one can go on to the MBA. As I say, it's part of that articulation pathway. Postgraduate diploma, master's degree. Okay, so Lydia says in Bloemfontein, registered for the postgraduate diploma in management, having worried about having access to a library to do research. Yes, so you can source through the electronic journals available to you through our portal, but I'm sure you will be able to have access to the two universities in Bloemfontein, the libraries in the two universities. You should make inquiries there about being able to use those universities, the Central University of Technology and the University of the Free State. But through our portal, you got access to a number of electronic sources. But if you're still having difficulties, my email will come up at the end of this presentation. Please make a note of it, and you can then communicate with me, and I can advise you on that. Okay, there's a question here. Is there a minimum final average one needs to achieve on the MBA to qualify to register on the DBA? It's not so much about the minimum final average, it's what the mark you get for your dissertation in your MBA. You must have at least 60% in your dissertation in order to be eligible, but that doesn't guarantee you selection. There is a selection process. It's one of the criteria. Anonymous attendee, yes, the postgraduate diploma in digital marketing, yes, it's new, and it will cover these new technologies. But yes, it's one of those areas where the body of knowledge is changing, and yes, our program should keep up with those changes. Okay, so we did that. Right. So I answered that. I think that covers the questions. I'm not sure if you have any more. Just check if there's anything on the chat line. Lorraine, apologize for that, but you will get the communication from the recruitment section. You can see the advice given by my colleague Brandon to Shanice. You can also contact Mr. Govender and he will follow up on your registration. Lorraine, the distinction mark is 75. Thanks. Oh, I see that's been responded to. Beg your pardon. Okay. All right. So that's the only advice I can give you as I leave you, that to study hard. Let's see, we have a few more questions. Vuyani, no, you don't need a specific average on the PGDIP to qualify for the MBA. As I say, it's part of that articulated pathway. Your completion of your postgraduate diploma in management enables you to enter the MBA. To pass cum laude for the postgraduate diploma in project management younger, you need an average of 75% across your 6 coursework modules. All right, and you must write and pass them at the first attempt, and you must not be granted a supplementary. You must write the main exam, pass at the first attempt, and your average across all 6 must be 75, and that will enable you to get a cum laude pass. Well, Menzi, we try to ensure that our learning centers, as we call them, not outside of Durban, have the requisite resources. But you know, it's also an economic question about how much resources can be provided. But yet, the short answer to your question is yes. Stuart, you're asking me any plans. I don't know if you want to know if I'm getting married or what, but no, I don't have any plans to get married. Postgraduate certificate in education. Namajama, I'm not, it's not on the front burner as I would put it, but that doesn't mean, again, that it won't be considered in 2022. Aldolf, rich distance learning, mode of learning work. Okay, the rich distance is really a term that we use at the undergraduate level for additional support provided to students. Okay, so we have the distance students who are doing it at a distance, and then the rich distance means that there's more support in the form of what we call workshops or face-to-face contact. And now in these COVID times, that might take the form of webinars. Not to say that distance students don't have webinars, it's the additional support given to that, and we call that rich distance. Stuart, the bridging course for the PGDA is being worked on. I would say that it will be introduced this semester to enable people to finish it and then register for the PGDA. Okay. All right, so I think we've covered all the questions. In case I missed some of those people requesting the presentation, please send me an email, osman@regent.ac.za, so I can send you back the presentation. It will also be on the portal. Thank you very much for your attendance and your questions and your presence. You notice also that there's a Regent Connect website. Lerato, you are most welcome. Please feel free, if you have any questions, to communicate with me. And particularly the lady in Bloemfontein, if you, in terms of access to resources to do your assignments and to prepare for your exams, but that is also open to the other students doing the postgraduate courses. Adolphe, you're welcome. Sandra, you're also welcome. Thank you all. Goodness, now I'll have to mention everybody's name, yeah. Stuart, that's a new spelling of my name, but it's fine. You're welcome. Stephen, thank you. I trust that Stephen echoes the feeling of everybody, that it was informative. If you have any further questions, please feel free to communicate with me. There's also Mr. Govender, bgovender@regent.ac.za. Or you can contact student support, or you can contact the recruitment section, one of the recruitment advisors. Usumusi, you are welcome. And yeah, Tlansla, can you send me an email, please? Because I might not have been able to take down all the addresses of people who asked. Okay, Innocent wants to know, where are exams conducted? All right, I hope that's what you mean. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, currently with the COVID restrictions in place, and from June last year, we have been having what we call take-home assessments. Okay, so you answer you write the exam from from where you choose. We moved away from venue-based exam. So provided you are not in contact with any other student, and you will, on the day in question, if you're writing, let's say, strategic management, then the paper will become available at a particular time, let's say at 8 o'clock in the morning. You download it, and then you work on it offline, and then before 1 o'clock, you're given 5 hours, you upload your answers, you convert it to a PDF, and you upload it to the portal, and you'll get an acknowledgement that it has been received. So the exam, we have not got venue-based exams. They are take-home assessments, which are open book exams. So in response to the COVID restrictions, we moved from venue-based closed book exams to open book exams. Thank you for that question. All right, Matshidiso, you're welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, if that's all, we'll conclude this particular session. Yeah, Danny, you're welcome. And as it says there, visit regent.ac.za to chat with a consultant. Thanks very much, everybody. I wish you well. Be safe, practice social distancing, and please look after yourselves. And we look forward to seeing you and interacting with you as part of the Regent family. Thank you very much.